The revs rise, and away we go, and a good start from Harley Rushton. I think Harley Rushton has possibly got the start, and everybody is safely away. Somebody just at the back just going to have a little trundle through. Beth.
Okay, as we go past here, it is number 2 in the lead then, 84. I think Harley Rushton was in 4th place there. So a great start from them all, but what a sound.
You said 84s in there. That's Nigel Moore, the John Reed 350 Honda, the Dungannon rider there. Nigel, of course, a regular on the Irish roads, on the classic bikes and the Moto 3 and the 125s over many, many years. So a good start, I think it was, from number 70, Harley Rushton. Of course, he'll be looking to do better than what he did in this race last year when he finished second, just in behind Joe Yurdsey, number 21, Will Loader, who's starting behind him again. So while those lot going to get together, like Rob said in qualifying, only 5 seconds separated the top 5 or 6, so it is going to be a tight one. They only managed to get one session because on Friday when we had this qualifying, the weather wasn't the best, to be fair, and then we had an incident at one of the practices which led to the sidecar practice not being on Friday, so we had obviously that problem. So they only managed to get out once, and obviously we had the incident as well, so we're going off the grid times that we had from Friday. So a good start from Harley Rushton. I wonder if Will Loader's going to follow him through, because he was in behind him there, but Barry Ferber was your pole position man on the 350 K4 Honda. He got away okay, as did the other man next to him, number 2, Alan Oversby. Lap 1 of 7, cross 4 ways.
Yeah, busy field out there. You mentioned Chris McGon, an unstarter. I don't think I mentioned before as well. I didn't see him through on the sighting lap either as well, so maybe he hasn't even made it out on the sighting lap, or if he has stopped earlier around the course before they've actually got the race start underway. Of course, we will have a new winner in this race this year with Joe Yurdsey not involved. Here they come. 2 have made a little bit of a break for it on the way through. It's Alan Oversby leading from Nigel Moore up to second, and it's Rushton, Davidson, Ferber, Cassidy, Loader, Sale and Hose on the way through. Mike Hose all the way back, and those number 34 Scott Wilson on the way through too. Then we've got number 41 Russell Brook, number 12 Richard Ford, number 39 Billy Cummins, 72 Shelley Pike, 73 Joris Vastenackles and 60 Gary Hutton on the way through. 4 more, 61, 52, 23 and 63 in that order. And then we've got Garth Woods, who's just being overtaken by number 98 Robert Coley, and slotting behind the 82 machine of Matthew Morgan, travelling marshals through. So, on the way through cross 4 ways on the opening lap, it is Alan Oversby that leads across 4 ways on the opening lap, holding off the advances of a couple of machines, most notably number 84 Nigel Moore. We heard from Beth that he'd had a good start down Castletown bypass. He's up to second. Mike Hose sitting all the way back in 6th at the moment. There's a lot of traffic towards the front of that field as it stands right now. Paul Cassidy is one of those that was in there as well, but it's Oversby that leads. He's already got a race win today. He'll be wanting to try and do it on the 350 as well. To you, Chris.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 machines as quick as that coming out of the School Hill Rise there. Awaiting them, there it is, Alan Oversby who leads from Nigel Moore, Harley Rushton, Paul Cassidy, told you it was quick, 10 Barry Ferber, 21 Will Loader, 8 Dan Sale, 4 Mike Hose, and that rider just coming through there was 34 Scott Wilson. But Oversby leads 0.04 of a second from number 84 Nigel Moore, who then in turn has a 0.4 of a second back to Harley Rushton. Then it's 0.13 back to, then it's 0.1 back to Cassidy. So not much between those guys. So Nigel Moore 0.386 back, then it's Rushton 0.392 back, and then Paul Cassidy half a second back off him. Then it's 40 Davison, 10 Ferber, 21 Loader, 8 Sale, 4 Hose as they stream through. 34 Scott Wilson, 41 Russ Brook, 12 Richard Ford, 72 Shelley Pike, 39 Billy Cummins, 73 Joris Vastenackles. He completes the top 15. Then it's 60 Gary Hutton, 51 Annie Kildare, 23 Adrian Scaife. Then we got 115 Garth Rudge just having a little trundle back in. Then we got 61 Ian Thompson, 52 Lee Stanaway Newcomer, 63 Gary Abbott, 98 Robert Coley, 82 Matthew Morgan. But at the front, it's Alan Oversby that leads by just under 0.04 of a second from number 84 Nigel Moore, who in turn has a similar sort of distance back to Harley Rushton in that 3rd place. This again could be a cracker. Reminder of that lap record, 91.274. That's Jamie Coward from 2022. It's lap 2, cross 4 ways.
Just 3 seconds separating the top 9 on the way through us there. And although Oversby was just leading a stampede of 350s through cross 4 ways there, as we've mentioned already, great start from Nigel Moore. Harley Rushton staying in the mix after starting on the front row as well. We can hear them. We should be seeing them crest the hill in the next few seconds as well. They'll be winding their way almost possibly through the strobe effect of the trees through Ballawetston and on the way towards us. 2, 3 machines heading towards us. It's still Oversby leading on the approach to cross 4 ways from Moore, Rushton, Davidson, Loader, Ferber, Sale and Hose in that order. Still nothing to separate really those leading machines. What's it like on the exit yet? Just still about holding it at the front as Scott Wilson comes past Alan Oversby, but he had Nigel Moore and Harley Rushton advancing on him right through cross four ways there. So no real change in the order there between Oversby, Moore and Rushton. It's still those three leading the way through cross four ways on this second lap. So next to 41, it's Brook. Richard Ford just having a little look at the inside of Shelley. Pike thinks against it this time. Pike holds position. Then it's Fasterknackles. We've got a rider who might be pulling in here as number 51, Andy Kildee, comes past number 60 as well, Gary Hutton. We do have a machine pulling in. It's the number 39 machine of Billy Cummins. So number 23 comes past Adrian Scapey. So it looks like Billy Cummins could well be a retirement here at Cross Four Ways. We'll get confirmation when we can. 52, 61 and 63 all on the way through as well. But again, it was Oversby, Moore and Rushton through Cross Four Ways as number 98 Coley comes through to you, Chris.
They have split up a little bit more than what they were in the first lap. There's only 7 of them now. I lied. There's 9 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. My count is not the best, is it? Harley Rushton leads on the 70 bike for Nigel Moore and Alan Oversby. Then it's Barry Davison, Barry Ferber, Will Loader, Dan Sale, 34, Scott Wilson going through. Mike Hose, the top 8 separated by 2.481 seconds. That's all it is between the top 8 in this 350 race sponsored by the Vintage Motorcycle Club Isle of Man section. Quickest lap of the race, 2 minutes 54.612, and that goes to Harley Rushton on that lap, 87.623. All the rest are in 87.3s, 87 zeros, 87 5s, 87.59. Wow. So we got down Scott Wilson. Russ Brook has gone through on 41, 72. Shell Pike. Shell has gone through as well, 12. Richard Ford has gone through. He's in 12th place. 73, Joris Fasterknackles. He's through on the 73 bike in 13th. Number 60, Gary Hutton goes through. He drops into 14th place. 51, Andy Kildee goes through. 23, Adrian Scaife, and 52, Lee Stanaway, followed by 63, Gary Abbott. That's your 18 runners through at the moment. Now we've lost Paul Cassidy. We've lost Billy Cummins in there too, as Matthew Morgan and Robert Coley both go through. But at the front, Harley Rushton leads by 0.214 of a second for number 84, Nigel Moore, who in turn was only 0.116 ahead of Alan Oversby in third. Then it's 0.61 back to Barry Davison in fourth. Then it's 0.252 back to Barry Ferber in fifth. Then it's number 21, Will Loader, slots the sixth. He's half a second back off Ferber. Then it's Sale, he's half a second back off Loader. And then it's Hose, he's 0.03 of a second back in that 8th place. 2.481 covers the top 8. Back to Rob.
Yeah, so 2.4 seconds between the top 8. It was 3 seconds between the top 9 last time, but of course we haven't had Paul Cassidy since. Here's Oversby, Rushton, Moore, Ferber, Davidson, Loader, Sale and Hose. Quick as you like again through cross four ways there. So it's still Oversby that's leading, but there's nothing. Oh, they're all jostling on the way in the exit across four ways. We're seeing a couple trying to dart up the inside as number 34, Scott Wilson, arrives. A couple of seconds back on the Craven Classic Racing 350 on the way through cross four ways here. A little bit further back on that group, but still virtually nothing to separate that top 8 on the way through as well. So it was Oversby who managed to nudge back in front across four ways on this latest lap after Rushton was quickest across Castletown bypass on lap 2. Nigel Moore is still in the mix as well. He's sitting in second. Rushton had dropped down to third here across four ways. Davidson, Ferber, Loader, Sale and Hose still all in the mix. Scott Wilson a couple of seconds back. Quick mention for number 41, Russell Brook, who made it up from the 5th row into the top 10. Here is Brook. Then it's Shelley Pike. Number 12, Richard Ford there. Quite a patient game between those three at the moment. Number 73, Joris Fasterknackles, and number 60, Gary Hutton on the way through as well on the Honda, the K4 350. Back to you, Chris.
They are all still together all across the bridge. And have we got a new race leader this time? Or it's still Harley Rushton? That could change because Alan Oversby shoots to the front. Listen to that. Wow, 3 seconds now covers the top 8, and it's Oversby back into the lead. Quickest lap of the race, though, with a 2:53.002 and 88.438 is Barry Ferber. He slots into third as 34 Scott Wilson goes through. He's 12 seconds back of Mike Hose. So the gaps between Oversby and Rushton is 0.066 of a second. 0.066 of a second. Then it's number 10, Ferber. He's 0.6 back off him in that third place. Then it's half a second back to Nigel Moore on the 84 bike. He's in fourth. Then it's half a second back to 21 Will Loader in fifth. 0.078 back to Barry Davison in sixth. Then Dan Sale 1.2 back off Barry Davison in seventh place. And your top 8 completed by number 4 Mike Hose. Still in with a shout though. Only 0.1 back. 72, 41 and 12 go through. at Shelley Pike, Russell Brook and Richard Ford, 10th, 11th and 12th respectively. 73.60 safely through out onto lap number 4. Joris Vastenackels and Gary Hutton all safely through on the 60. The next bike through should be number 51. And it is. Andy Kildare goes through on the 51 machine, the 350 Honda, the K4 there, the Newtonards rider. 2 more machines heading towards us now, back into the now complete sunlight here on the bypass. 23 and 52 again, Adrian Scaife and Lee Stanaway. Alan Oversby's lap, 88.338, Rushton 88.13, and Ferber, quickest man on track, 88.43. 3 seconds covers the top 8 still, Rob.
Indeed, and then that battle for the final place in the top 10. So Shelley Pike's made a move somewhere between Cross Four Ways and Castletown Bypass to move ahead of Russell Brook. It's Alan Oversby leading, and now it's number 70, Harley Rushton, 10, Barry Ferber, who's looking up the inside, 21, Will Loader, Davidson, and then more. Then we've got Sale and Hose there on the way through as well. So it's Oversby leading again at Cross Four Ways there, but Barry Ferber, we'd already heard that he moved up to 3rd. Castletown Bypass going on to this latest lap. He's now up to 2nd. He was just looking up the inside there. The Harley Rushton, number 34, Scott Wilson, on the way through on lap 4 at Cross Four Ways. So Barry Ferber, he is starting to make up a little bit more ground. He was as far back as 6th on lap 1. He was up to 3rd at the end of the previous lap and up to 2nd here at Cross Four Ways. Just took that inside line ahead of Harley Rushton there, with Oversby not too far in front. The leading 3, though, they've now just opened up around, I would say, just over half a second. Oversby, Rushton and Ferber to Nigel Moore and Will Loader further back. Loader got ahead of Nigel Moore on the way through as well. Barry Davidson, Dan Sale and Mike Hose still all in the mix inside that top 8 as well. So it's Oversby leading again. The battle between Rushton and Ferber, that looks set to be going right through at the moment to the end of this lap at the very least. To you, Chris.
You're quite right, Rob. It has opened up just a little bit. There's still 4 coming in one, but it is Alan Oversby that leads. But here comes number 10, Barry Ferber. He slots in the 2nd. Harley Rushton in 3rd. 21, Will Loader 4th. 40, Barry Davison. Then it's 84, Nigel Moore. Number 4, Mike Hose 7th. And number 8, Dan Sale slots in to that 8th position. Oversby leads the quickest lap of the race so far at an 88.499. That's gone to Will Loader, a 252.883 by 88.499. Oversby leads by 0.135 of a second from number 10, Barry Ferber, who in turn has it's nothing between him and Harley Rushton, 0.080. That's the top 3. Then in 3rd place, 4th place, Will Loader, that quickest lap so far, 252.883, 88.499, holds on to 4th. He's 0.861 back off Rushton. Then it's 40 Davison, he's 1.1 back in 5th. Then it's 84 Moore, dropping back 3/4 of a second back off his fellow countryman Davison. Then it's number 4, Mike Hose in 7th. He's 2.2 back off Nigel Moore. Then it's number 8, Dan Sale in 8th place. He's 0.090 back from the number 4 bike of Hose in 8th place. We've had Scott Wilson through on 34. And that's the sound of Shelley Pike, Russell Brook and Richard Ford on the 250 going through. You hear that distinctive note of the 2-stroke. 2 more machines into our eye line. Let's have a listen. First bike through was 60, Gary Hutton. He's in 13th place, and 73, Joris Vastenackels. But back at the front, there is a belter of a race going on between Oversby, Ferber and Rushton. They're out on lap number 5 of 7. That's gone quick, hasn't it? Back to Cross Four Ways, Rob Pritchard.
Yeah, and that leading 8 have started to open up a much bigger gap now. The gap between Dan Sale in 8th and Scott Wilson in 9th is now 16.5 seconds. Here we go. It's Barry Ferber who now leads at Cross Four Ways from Oversby. Then Rushton, then Loader, Davidson, Moore. And then dropping back just a second or so is Mike Hose. Has got Dan Sale for company. So a new leader at Cross Four Ways on this latest. It's Barry Ferber. He's managed to just get one wheel in front of Alan Oversby on the way through as well. He made his move actually on the approach to here up towards Cross Four Ways before they got into the braking zone, just before those de-restricted signs and that little undulation on the left-hand side. So Barry Ferber leading at Cross Four Ways, but still very little at all to separate that group. There's number 34, Scott Wilson, just trailing behind that front 8 at the moment. Harley Rushton and Will Loader, we also said, still in the mix in 3rd and 4th. Barry Davidson and Nigel Moore, 5th and 6th still respectively. And Mike Hose only just about holding off number 8, Dan Sale. So that's a battle at the back of that group as well that could be developing in the last couple of laps of this race. Big gap, as we mentioned, to the rest of the field now. As mentioned, it was 16.5 seconds between Sale in 8th and Scott Wilson in 9th. There was then 45.7 seconds at Castletown Bypass between Scott Wilson and Shelley Pike. To you, Chris.
Timing is everything as the train heads towards Ballabeg, Colby, Port Samary and Port Erin. The riders coming past, overtaking the train, and it's Oversby from Ferber, from Loader. Wow, then it's 70, then it's 40, then it's 84, as quick as that. And these two having a great battle, Dan Sale and Mike Hose. But Alan Oversby now leads his quickest lap of the race. And look at this, 2 minutes, 52.2624. Oversby, he is now the quickest man on track, 88.818, and his lead is the biggest lead we've seen all through this race. It's 0.435 of a second between Oversby and Ferber, who in turn has just about a second on Loader. And then it's Rushton half a second back as 34 Scott Wilson goes through. Then it's Davison in fifth on the 40 bike. He's 1.2 back off Rushton. Then Nigel Moore just about a second back off Barry Davison in sixth. And Dan Sale and Mike Hose together on the road. Dan is 2.6 seconds back off Nigel Moore, who in turn is only 1.132 back off Dan Sale in 8th place. Scott Wilson home in 9th position. What a cracker of a race this is. Absolute belter. They're out on lap number 6. Oversby leads. That quickest lap there. Let's look at Barry Ferber this lap round. That's Barry's quickest lap. A 252.562. 88.664. Will Loader, that's his quickest lap as well. A 252.59. 88.649. Seeing if anybody else has improved on that lap. Not so far. We've only had 9 competitors through. Scott Wilson, as we look up, 2 machines, it should be Shelley Pike and Russell Brook. That's the way round they were last lap, and it's the same. Shelley holds on to that 10th place. That's her quickest lap for Shelley. A 309.385, 80.788. And as Richard Ford goes through, he's holding on to 12th. Not sure if he's still going on or not, but Richard continues on in 12th place as number 60 goes through. Gary Hudson back to cross four ways.
Yeah, and that battle for the final position, the top 10 between Shelley Pike and Russell Brook is good. It's Barry Ferber, then it's Alan Oversby, and number 21 Will Loader up to third, and then it's Rushton and Davidson. A bit more spread out this group now as number 84 Nigel Moore comes past, and then it's number 8 Dan Sale, ahead of number 4 Mike Hosey. Made that move somewhere between cross four ways and Castletown bypass on the previous lap. We're just hearing as well that number 12 machine of Richard Ford is a retirement, so Richard Ford out of the race was running in 12th on the on the previous lap there, so Richard Ford is a retirement from the race. But it was Barry Ferber leading out here at cross four ways on that latest lap ahead of Oversby, and Will Loader just keeping pace with the leading two as well. Still a lonely race for this man. 34 Scott Wilson steady on the Craven Classic Racing Machine again through cross four ways here. He's a long way behind that leading group, which, as I mentioned, has just started to spread out a little bit. Barry Davidson still keeping in touch with Harley Rushton for the battle for fourth, but Nigel Moore dropping back a couple of seconds, and then a couple of seconds back after that was the battle between Dan Sale and Mike Hose. So that group just starting to get spread out a little bit. In fact, the gap between Oversby on the previous lap, who was leading at the end of the previous lap, and Mike Hose in 8th, is now out to 6.9 seconds. So maybe just a bit of an indication of how that group is spreading out a bit. To you, Chris.
Yeah, leaders are going to start getting mixed up with some slower traffic there now. They were just catching up on a couple of riders, Robert Coley and Matthew Morgan, but it's Barry Ferber that leads at the moment. Wow, at 2 minutes 50.845, but it did look to me like Alan Oversby pulled out to get the slipstream as they go down the main straight here, so the lead was only 0.049 between Ferber and Oversby. With Will Loader, he's about 0.122 back off him. Then it's 2.4 seconds back to Harley Rushton, and it's 3.147 back to Barry Davison. Still only 3.8 separates the top 5, but at the front, with the last lap flag being out, the quickest lap of the race then is 89.555. That lap record, as you mentioned, is 2022 for Jamie Coward with a 2 minutes 47.62. They're just off that at the moment. 91.274. 89.555 is the quickest lap so far, but Barry Ferber did get his nose in front, just getting in the middle of a little bit of traffic there as well. So it's 10 Ferber, 2 Oversby, 21 Loader, 70 Rushton, 40 Davison, 84 Moore, 8 Sale, 4 Hose, 34 Scott Wilson. They are your 9 runners past me so far. Just looking to see if anybody else improved on that lap. I don't think anybody else did. Yes, Barry Davison did. A 251.975, 88.966 for him. And also improving on that lap, Harley Rushton in 4th on the 70 bike, 253.068, 88.405. As we look at once more onto the Castletown Bridge, I can just see possibly one machine just crossing over there. It could be 2. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see. It is 2. It should be 72 Shelley Pike, and it should be 41 Russbrook. There they are in 10th and 11th position. We want to get to cross four ways early. We do not want to miss this.
It's Oversby, and he's opened up a gap to Ferber and Loader here as well. Barry David's having a look up. He's gone past both Rushton and one of the back markers, Adrian Scaife, there on his previous lap as well. So they have brought the traffic as Nigel Moore comes through. Then Dan Sale then Mike Hose, and then we've got a couple more to on the back of the order. Matthew Morgan and also Robert Coley. They're on previous laps, just a reminder, when you're seeing them coming past you, away from cross four ways and back toward the start-finish line. But it is Alan Oversby leading, and he'd opened out a fairly sizable gap, well, certainly in comparison to other laps in this race, to Barry Ferber in second and Will Loader in third as well. Barry Davidson had actually moved up to fourth. He managed to pass both Nigel Moore and Harley Rushton here at cross four ways on that previous lap. So Barry Davidson moving up may not be enough to try and catch the top three at this point. Number 34, Scott Wilson, on the way through cross four ways for the final time in this race. We certainly don't want to miss the end of this one, but I'm telling you, Alan Oversby, he'd opened up a gap going through cross four ways. We saw it in the previous race, didn't we? He'd had plenty of company in that 500cc race, but then just opened up the gap, opened up the taps toward the end of the contest, and that just seemed to get him to eke it away a bit. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, Alan Oversby just crossed the line there. Well, caught us all out, really, and he's won by 2.387 seconds in the end from number 10, Barry Ferber, then number 21, Will Loader. 70, Harley Rushton goes through. 40, Barry Davison. He's in fourth, and Dan Sale gets the better of Mike Hose there on the line, with Nigel Moore in the middle of that in sixth position, as Gary Abbott and A.D. Scaife, I think, are just finishing as well. So let's have a little look up the line once more. Oh, two together. It's 82 and 96, Matthew Morgan and Robert Coley. They're also finished as well with their race. But a win in the end for Alan Oversby. That's win number 17 by my totalling, 2.387 seconds. And the quickest lap of the race was still Barry Ferber. No, it wasn't. The best lap time was Barry Ferber. It was, yeah. 2 minutes 50.845. Scott Wilson, 34, finishes in 9th place. So Barry Ferber, 2 minutes 50.845, 89.555. He's in second place. The lap for Oversby was a 250.996, 89.476. And Will Loader in third, a 2 minutes 51.146, 89.397. But another win around the 4 1/4 mile Motor Billown circuit for Alan Oversby. And the top three are with Beth.
They certainly are. And Will Loader's little boy just coming in here. Great race there, Will.
Oh, it was amazing. Like, I was 8th at one point, I got up to 5th, then I was back to 7th, then I started picking them off one at a time. This thing's so hard to race against the Hondas because the punch they've got off the corners is unbelievable. And they've got really good brakes, and if I dive down the inside, I can't get out the corner. So I was trying to figure out places where I was quicker. And I honestly thought I had a shot at winning it. I was catching them, and then the last lap, just back markers. Me and Barry were just stuffed by back markers everywhere. Alan got away, but it was a cracking race. Loved it.
Really was. Great one to watch as well. Just shows how much of it is a mind game sometimes too.
Yeah, like once I'd figured out how to race a Honda on the two-stroke, it was good, and I started moving forwards. But like initially, they were just coming past me, and I don't know how to race these guys. But no, it was fantastic. Thanks to everybody who's here helping me, and people listening at home, like my mate Clive, and sure my Uncle Pete's listening out in Greece. And he put a lot of work into this bike in 1989 through to when my dad stopped riding it, and it's nice to get some results on it now.
Absolutely brilliant, Will. Thank you so much. That's Will Loader in third place. Let's speak to the second place man, Barry Ferber. You got the best lap of the race, 89.555. How was that then?
Well, I should have done 7 of them then, shouldn't I, really? Needed to pull my finger out earlier on, but I've never ridden these things before, but it's so close. As long as you're in that group, it doesn't really matter where you are, but he had a better run with the back markers. He made some better choices than me, and that's what won the race in the end, but it was good, really good fun.
And the machine ran okay?
The machine's faultless. These boys know how to put a bike together. It's such a nice bike to ride. It's really, really good. Good fun.
Great to see you back in the podium, Barry. And let's go over then and speak to Alan Oversby. We've kind of figured, Alan. Oh, I'm behind you. Hello.
Sorry.
Hello, it's all right. We think this is win number 17. Is that by your calculation?
I'm not sure, is it?
We think so.
What's the most wins? I can't remember.
We'll find that out actually, but just talk us through that race, because they were just saying that you got the better of the back markers there and just got away a little bit. You weren't going to let that one go either, were you?
I did see the back markers, and I thought there's only one way I'm going to win this, is if I can get one between us, and sure enough it just landed right for me and took advantage of that and got away from Mr. Ferber there. So
This Ruthless Racing machine is absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? And it ran well for you?
Oh, absolutely brilliant. Lindsay puts a really good bike together. Ruthless Racing. Can't thank him enough. And his mechanics, they work hard on him, and this is what you get.
certainly is. And the sun's come out as well. We're all good.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
Well done there to Alan Oversby. So the bikes are just going to be put up onto the podium here, Chris, and we'll be back very shortly for the presentation.
Yeah, so the win there for Alan Oversby by my maths, Beth. That's 16 wins. I'm pretty sure he's got there now. He's got another 6 to find and catch up Mike Hose, who's got 22. So Oversby wins by 2.387 seconds from Barry Ferber, who's the quickest lap of the race, as you said, 2 minutes 50.845. With Will Loader in third, about 900s back in that third. Then at 70, Harley Rushton, 40, Barry Davison, 84, Nigel Moore, number 8, Dan Sale, number 4, Mike Hose, and then we had number 34, Scott Wilson, number 72, Shelley Pike, number 41, Russ Brook, number 60, Gary Hutton, number 52, Lee Stanaway, 63, Gary Abbott in there, 23, Adi Scaife, 82, Matthew Morgan, and 98, Robert Coley. They were your finishers in the Vintage Motorcycle Club Alaman section 350 Classics. And let's get down to Beth for the presentation.
Yeah, this is going to be done by Rupert Murden, who is the chairman of the Vintage Motorcycle Club. So the Vintage MCC Isle of Man section in third place, back in the podium again today, it is Will Loader. And in second place, on the number 10 machine, again back in the podium this weekend, Barry Ferber. And wind number 17 on the number 2 machine, Alan Oversby.